Let's begin with our top story. President Yoon Suk Yeol has held a series of bilateral meetings with leaders of Pacific Island countries who are in Seoul for an unprecedented multilateral meeting taking place this afternoon. He has met with 10 of the leaders and is now wrapping up his individual sit-downs at the Yongsan Presidential Office. Our top office correspondent Oh Soo-young is there and we connect to her now. Hi Soo-young, could you give us a breakdown of who the president has met with and what they spoke about?
Good afternoon, Pogyong. Yes, President Yoon Suk Yeol has met with around 10 leaders from the Pacific Island Forum countries over the past 24 hours. And this morning, he met with the leaders of the Cook Islands, Marshall Islands, Solomon Islands, Niue and Palau. Niue was quite notable, of course, as Seoul established formal diplomatic relations with the island country today. While we have yet to hear specifically about what the leaders discussed, we do know that the President has been making a comprehensive review of the status of bilateral cooperation with each Pacific Island country. On Sunday, he focused on development, climate change response, maritime industry and security and healthcare. First on the meeting during his meeting with Kiribati's President Tanasin Mamao, Yoon noted that Kiribati is the biggest operation ground for South Korean deep fishing operations. He asked for continued protection of South Korea's fishing vessels. Meanwhile, Mao expressed intent to learn from South Korea's economic development model and cooperate in advancing the fisheries industry and healthcare. Yoon also held talks with Coc Sobaleri, who is the Prime Minister of Tonga, the first Pacific Island nation to forge diplomatic ties with South Korea in 1970. Yoon thanked his counterpart for a swift response to an underwater volcanic eruption last year that ensured the safety of 24 South Koreans. The Tongan PM thanked Seoul for its restoration support and says that he hopes to expand cooperation in the digital sector as well as securing safe drinking water. The South Korean leader then met with the Prime Minister of Tuvalu. He pledged to help drive carbon reduction efforts, while PM Kausia Natano said that he hopes to cooperate with Seoul on communication facilities, hydrogen exports and decarbonisation in shipping. Yoon's fourth meeting was with Ismail Kausakau, who is the PM of Vanuatu. Yoon noted that the country's efforts on tackling climate change has been quite notable, while his counterpart thanked the South Korean leader for providing humanitarian aid during a cyclone in March. He requested South Korea's support in future development projects. Yoon's last meeting on Sunday was with the PM of Papua New Guinea, James Marape, and Yoon stressed the role of their bilateral ties for the prosperity of the Indo-Pacific region, while Marape says that he hopes to see South Korean manufacturers investing more in this country, which is bringing with natural resources like oil, gold and gas.
I see, Soo-young. We do have to wait for more details on today's summits, but what is the significance of having these meetings and the multilateral meeting with all 18 Pacific Island Forum nations?
Well, we can see it as South Korea really rolling out its Indo-Pacific Strategy, which was released in December last year. It's striving for peace and prosperity in the region, which of course accounts for around 78% of its exports, as well as 2/3 of its foreign investment. And as the geopolitical rivalry between Washington and Beijing intensifies, we saw the two superpowers really vying for influence over the Pacific Island nations last year. South Korea is also reaching out to these countries, but as a stabilising force for the peace and continued development of its neighbourhood. On Sunday, Yoon pledged to build and develop just and trust-based relations with the Pacific Island countries, proposing to expand mutually beneficial areas of cooperation. His counterpart said that they are greatly encouraged by Seoul's interest in their countries, as well as its support, as South Korea continues to expand its official development assistance.
All right, thank you for your coverage, Soo-young.